So as we all know, Fortnite Chapter 7 is approaching, and it's coming out actually this weekend on the 29th or the 30th. I'm pretty sure the event is on the 29th, but Chapter 7 is not actually going to start until the 30th, so yeah. But we are getting Chapter 7 very soon, so I thought I would go ahead and dive into the theory that has been going around like crazy of the 7 and whether or not they are going to return. Because in case you don't remember, the 7 was a huge part of like the Fortnite storyline from like chapter 1 to like chapter 3. That is kind of when they, kind of faded off and were never seen again after the whole like Chrome season. But yeah, I know what you're probably looking at right now. There is in fact a like zit right above my lip. You can probably see it. It's on the right side there. And I don't know how long that's been there. I think it's been there for like I think it started on the weekend, like this past weekend, so it'll take like a week or so to go away, so it's just going to be here for this video. It is kind of distracting, but yeah, without any further ado, let's go ahead and dive into the 7 fan theory right now. Alrighty, so yes, there's been multiple people speculating that the 7 are coming back, because, this is Fortnite Chapter 7, so it seems like the perfect time to bring them back. But I would say tame the expectation, because this is Epic Games that we're talking about, and, Epic Games, it was kind of lackluster for Chapter 6. I'm thinking maybe once the event happens, I think I'll maybe do like a ranking video of like all the chapters that we've had before. But Chapter 6 was kind of like, for me. Like there were some banger seasons, but there were also some, pretty forgettable seasons as well. And so I'm thinking that Chapter 7, I feel like this is the point where they're probably like, alright, we gotta start changing things up, so they're probably gonna bring back the storyline, because let's be honest here, Chapter 6 and Chapter 5 also, there wasn't really much story going on, if we're being honest here. I think like Chapter 4 is really where it started going downhill, because that is when, of course, Donald Mustard left Epic Games, and then they brought in, Charlie Wen, who's now the new, like, CEO of Epic Games. So during that time, there wasn't really like a story going on. They are kind of starting to bring it back, but yeah, I'm thinking Chapter 7 is really when they're gonna, start the story back up, and probably, hopefully, will bring back the 7. But in terms of like, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson voicing the Foundation, which I gotta say is like the craziest thing that I think has ever happened in like the history of gaming, was like watching the Chapter 2 end event back in 2021 and like seeing Dwayne Johnson be The Rock was like the craziest thing I think I've ever seen in my life. Like that was just absolutely insane. But yeah, in terms of like Dwayne Johnson coming back as Foundation, or Brie Larson coming back as Paradigm, because that is who they got to play Paradigm in Chapter 3 Season 4. I don't know. We could probably get Brie Larson back as Paradigm, and like Dwayne Johnson as Foundation. Probably don't expect The Rock to be the Foundation. They might either just have him not speak, or they might just get a different actor to voice him, because, Dwayne Johnson is obviously, like, one of the most popular actors in the world, so the fact that they even got him to voice the Foundation in the first place is kind of crazy, I'm not gonna lie. But, yeah, I'm thinking that the 7 do have a pretty good chance at showing up in this brand new chapter. I wouldn't say necessarily like season 1, like Chapter 7 season 1. I would say don't expect them to show up then. But people have noticed that, Fortnite's been teasing like Chapter 7, but they've been saying like the word 7 rather than like just the number 7. I'm thinking that's kind of a bit of a stretch here, but there's also been like images of like Fortnite teasing Chapter 7 and showing the 7's logo with like Chapter 7, there's been like images at like football games or at like baseball games. I'll show them on the screen, but yeah, it has like, the Chapter 7 Fortnite text, and then it has like the 7 logo. So the fact that they're even showing the 7's logo probably means that they are going to be coming back, because why would they show the logo and then just not have them be returning, you know, like it's like what unless they're doing some like crazy strategy where it's like it's gonna say like chapter 7 and then like the seven's logo is gonna be there as like, you know, the logo for like chapter 7, but there's no like the 7 aren't in the actual chapter itself. Like that would be a crazy move from Epic Games to play and would probably make a lot of people pretty angry, for being honest. So, yeah, I'm thinking there's a pretty good chance that the 7 are returning, but like I said, I don't think you should expect Dwayne The Rock Johnson or Brie Larson to be voicing these characters. I mean, maybe, but I would say, you know, tame the expectations on that. And also, as a whole, I'm feeling like Chapter 7, they gotta start making these seasons, like, have longer seasons for each chapter because, you know, I'm not really vibing with the whole new chapter every year sort of thing, you know what I'm saying? Because, like, chapter 1 was 10 seasons, and then chapter 2 was 8 seasons, so that's like, you know, that's okay. But then chapter 3, 4, 5, and 6 are all like only 4 seasons. Well, I guess you kind of have like the mini seasons thrown into chapter 5 and 6, but for the most part, they're only like 4 seasons long, so it's kind of just like, you know, it's kind of getting a little boring having a new chapter every single year. So I feel like with chapter 7, I would like it if there is at least like 6 seasons maybe, so that they can maybe extend it a bit more. But getting back to the 7, we also should probably, if they are going to bring back the 7, find out what happened to the other members of the 7 who got, you know, sucked into the chrome. Because back in chapter 3, season 4, with like the whole like Paradise season, that was the season with like the chrome and everything, and that was when the scientist, the origin, and the visitor, that is when they got sucked up into like the chrome and everything. But it never was like mentioned if they died or anything like that, because it was always kind of like mentioned that they were like still alive, but they were like being held somewhere. So maybe if the 7 do return, we can finally find out what happened to those 3 members of the 7 who got sucked up by the chrome, and whether or not they're still alive or whether or not they are dead, who's to say? But also, with OG, the, you know, Fortnite OG game mode, we have had versions of the 7 from like alternate realities. So maybe it could be a thing where it's not exactly like, you know, the 7 that we know from the previous chapters, but maybe it could be a new version of the 7. So it could be the version from the visitor that we got in the OG Season 4 Battle Pass. You know, how we had, I think it was like reality. I don't remember what it was, but it was a brand new visitor skin that was from like an alternate reality or like an alternate timeline. But he still remembers what happened in like the previous, you know, seasons. So I'm thinking they can bring in that version of the visitor into Chapter 7, and they can probably have different versions of the 7 in Chapter 7 as well, and that way they can have like different voice actors and things like that, so they don't have to get, you know, Dwayne Johnson or Brie Larson back. So there's a lot of things that they could do there, but I'm thinking that the 7 do have a pretty good chance to show up in this new chapter, because like I said, why would they show the logos and everything for the 7 if they aren't in the chapter? That just sounds, you know, kind of crazy to me. But yeah, overall, I'm thinking there's a pretty good chance that the 7 do return. You guys let me know what you think, but I think that's going to wrap it up for this video. We are only 52 subscribers away from 700. We are 648. So if you haven't subscribed yet, make sure you subscribe. And yeah, there hasn't really been much videos going on lately, but you know, I kind of like to wait a bit before making a new video because obviously work now, and so I don't really have all the time in the world to make a video. So that's kind of why sometimes I take like a 5-day break or like a week-long break. But yeah, Five Nights at Freddy's 2 is only 1 week away. I'm very much looking forward to it. Probably going to see the movie on December 4th. You can expect a review for that on the 5th of December. But yeah, you guys let me know if you think the 7 are going to be coming back in this brand new Fortnite chapter. And if you're looking forward to Chapter 7 as a whole, I'm thinking it's probably going to be a pretty good chapter, but I don't even know what they could add to it, because I mean, they've already added vehicles, they've already added, like, you know, mantling, and they've already added, like, all these crazy other features from, like, Chapter 6 with, like, the parkour stuff, but then they do this weird thing where they add a feature, and then immediately remove it, and it's like, what's going on here? But yeah, I am looking forward to Chapter 7. I haven't really been playing, like, any of the Fortnite Simpsons season, but that's just because, Simpsons is not really my thing, so I just haven't been playing that season. And I probably should get on to at least buying the rest of the Battle Pass because the Chapter 6 live event is on the 29th of November, which is like in 3 days. So I probably should get on that, but I just haven't been playing much Fortnite recently because not really a big Simpsons fan. But I probably will be playing the live event because it's going to be on Saturday and I don't work that day. So I will be playing that event. I'm not sure if I'll live stream it. I don't know where my capture card currently is. Like, I have a capture card, but I don't know where it went. Like, I just can't find it. So if I can find it, then I will probably most likely live stream the event. I don't know. We'll see what happens. But yeah, that's going to wrap it up for this video, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace out.